Thank you so much for joining me for my second live show, Mary Talks, Teenage Minds Matter. And just to reintroduce myself, my name is Mary. I am a wellbeing coach. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and also a holistic therapist. And my business is that of wellbeing and helping teenagers and young adults to manage anxiety, stress, worry, and things like that. So the purpose of my live shows every Wednesday is to talk to you, parents, who have teenagers or young adults. And the purpose is to discuss various things that our teenagers can be experiencing and to give you practical tools and strategies to actually help them. Okay, so this is week 2. Just to recap on what we spoke about last week, I started by talking about emotions and the fact that as parents, we need to start normalizing emotions. I showed this emotional scale, which is a scale of emotions, starting with love, joy, appreciation, down to, more unwanted emotions, I suppose, despair, powerlessness, etc., etc. But all of these emotions and the whole of the emotional scale is experienced by every single human on this planet. So yes, there are some emotions that we love. We love to feel joy and contentment and happiness. And there are some other kind of less wanted emotions, such as powerlessness, feeling sad, feeling angry, etc., etc. But the point I was making last week is that all of these emotions are normal, and every single person will experience all of these emotions at some point in their life. So as parents, we need to start normalizing everything. So if your child is feeling worried or if your child is feeling anxious, make it normal. This is completely normal. There's nothing wrong with them. Okay, this is just another emotion that they're feeling because of something which is going on in their environment. Okay, so today I want to move that on and to talk about emotions which maybe aren't particularly wanted all of the time. All right, so I want to talk about if your child is experiencing stress, anxiety, worry, panic, any of these types of emotions. And the first thing I want to talk about is recognizing when your child is experiencing these things. Your child may be very open with you and may tell you, which is awesome, but then again, they may not. And it's really looking out for any changes in behavior of your child. If they're acting differently or, if they're suddenly acting like you've never really seen them before. And what I mean by that is, they could suddenly have trouble sleeping, trouble eating, sudden headaches, a lot of illness maybe, irritability, arguing with siblings, and other physical symptoms such as the fidgets, not being able to concentrate, going red, having butterflies, sweaty palms. I mean, honestly, the symptoms for anxiety and worry and stress, as you should know yourself, are massive, and it's understanding and seeing those in our children, which I think as parents is really important. So the first thing is to understand the signs and then to be able to have these conversations with our teens and young adults. The second thing, once we understand that they are feeling like this, is to talk to them about some coping skills. Now, this is a handout which I give on my course Thrive and Shine, which is designed for teenagers. And it goes into very practical ways that we can look at and help ourselves in terms of coping skills. So for example, physical skills, and this will work for some children and adults and not work for others. So what I say on the course is it's about finding the coping skill that works for you, because every child is different, every human is different, and what works for me is not necessarily going to work for your child. Okay, so for example, a physical skill. When kids are stressed or anxious, actually for some, getting out and doing their favorite exercise is the best thing. Going to play football, it completely distracts their mind, and they come back feeling energized and invigorated, and they've forgotten or they've gotten rid of a lot of that stress or anxiety for a period of time. So physical skills is a really key one. For me, I found when I had panic attacks and things like that, that actually speaking to somebody and sharing how I was feeling with somebody, and it was different every time. It might be my mom or my partner or my best friend or my sister or whatever. If I was feeling really panicky and like I felt a panic attack was coming on and my heart was pounding and whatever the symptoms for me were, I actually found that speaking to somebody and sharing how I was feeling immediately dissipated 90% of my symptoms. So as I said, this is a handout which I give on my course. There's one coping skill which I wanted to go through today, which works for 99.9% of the population. And for me, it's a skill which should be taught at school. It should be taught as young and as early as possible. And that is that of deep breathing, or controlled breathing, I suppose, is a better term for it. Our breathing basically sets the tone for the rest of our body. Okay, and what we find is when we're anxious, stressed, worried, whatever, our breathing is really shallow, which means that we're not getting enough oxygen into our body. We can start hyperventilating. You know, our heart is probably pounding. It's working harder than it normally would. And all of these physical symptoms which we experience in the body can be very disconcerting and very off-putting for a lot of people if they've not experienced them, before, or they don't understand why they're happening. So for me, understanding and having some breathing techniques, which you know, which you've practiced before you've even needed them, is really important. And it's a really key life skill, I think, to have up your sleeve so that you know that you can control your body with your mind. You can put yourself back in control and you can calm down your nervous system as and when and if you need it, okay? So there are many reasons as to why this works. But in terms of controlling your breathing, the three main things I would say are this, is that it slows your heart rate, it lowers your blood pressure, and it delivers enough oxygen back into your body and back to all of the organs, okay? So those are the three biggest benefits, I suppose, of controlling your breathing. And once you control your breathing, your body calms down, and ultimately then you are back in control of your body and your feelings and your emotions, and everything just feels so much more manageable. Okay, so I'm going to go through two different techniques with you today, and they work for different people, and I want you to practice both of them so you can decide which one is best for you. If you know both and they both work, then absolutely fantastic, you've got the choice. And I'm going to go through these techniques now. I would say definitely practice and decide what's right for you. You can show this video to your teenagers. You can teach them these techniques themselves, okay? But they're really key to lots of situations. Your child could be sat in an exam, for instance, and they could do these techniques. You can do them in the car before a meeting, a presentation, an interview, I don't know, whatever. You can even with practice sit in a meeting or in a classroom, and if you're feeling a bit anxious, you can do these breathing techniques to calm yourself down. They're really, really awesome. Okay, so let's get cracking with the first one. So the first one is very easy. It is a slow breath into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. All right. And what I say to everybody when I'm teaching these techniques is you need to find yourself in a comfortable position. Certainly when you're learning these techniques, you need to be as comfortable as possible. Once you've practiced these techniques, then you can do them standing up, you can do them on the train, you can do them wherever basically. But in terms of initially practicing, I would say you need to find yourself a quiet place. You need to find yourself sat down comfortably, both feet on the floor, okay, so that you're grounding yourself. And you can just basically put your hands in your lap and be as relaxed as you possibly can. Now again, if you're mid panic attack, that's not as easy as it sounds, because everything is, you're completely rigid. So try and be as loose and as relaxed and what have you as you possibly can, okay? And then very simply, you close your eyes and then you breathe into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. So you can do this with me now. We're going to do 3 deep breaths to help ourselves to feel more relaxed and calm and in control. All right, so let us begin. Let's breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. It's as simple as that. However, this does need practice, so that when and as and if we need them, we've practiced and they're in our armour, as it were. Also, with regular practice, what it does is it starts to create a neural pathway to your brain that as soon as you start counting that slowly and controlling your breathing, your body automatically knows to relax. It's called a conditioning system. So the more we practice, when we actually need it, the easier it is. And also our body knows that this is the time to relax and not to get upset, uptight. Okay, so those are the two benefits as to why we should definitely practice these once, twice a day, or whatever. Okay, the second breathing technique is very similar, but some people struggle when they're feeling anxious to take in a very deep breath. So this breathing technique is we take 2 inhalations, one after the other. So we take in a breath, okay, and then we try and expand our lungs even more by taking in a deeper breath, if that makes sense, okay? And then it's 1 long exhale. So we basically do 2 inhales and then 1 exhale to the count of 6. And again, we repeat that at least 3 to 5 times in order for our body to ultimately start to relax. And this one is really good because it helps to maximize the oxygen intake and maximize the CO2 exhalation as well, so that our body starts getting the right oxygen and what have you, which we need. Okay, so let's give this one a go, all right? So 2 inhalations and 1 exhalation. So something like this. Breathe in, and again, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, and again, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, breathe in, and again, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there you have it, 2 very simple breathing techniques. One, breathing into the count of 4 and out to the count of 4, and the other, breathing in twice and then breathing out to the count of 6. So I'm going to leave that with you. I suggest that, go away, practice, see what works for you. You can show your children this video, please, by all means, or you can teach them the techniques yourself. Now, the more that you practice, there are other things that you can do as well in terms of really slumping your shoulders, really sinking into the chair to get sort of an ultimate relaxation feeling when you're doing these breathing techniques. So give them a go and see what works for you. As I've said, practicing with your eyes shut to begin with, once, twice a day. But actually, when you become proficient with them and you know what works for you, you can be sitting in a meeting or in a lecture or whatever and actually, do the breathing in and out to the count of 4 with your eyes open. You will get the same relaxed feeling in your body. All right. So there we go. those are my two practical examples, exercises for you this week. I hope you enjoyed that. I am all about finding practical solutions and practical exercises and top tips and what have you for everybody. So that's what these videos are going to be about, is actually coming up with the practical things that we can do to help us. I mean, I've read many books on theory coming out your ears, all the rest of it. It's all well and good. For me, I'm about solutions and finding ways that we can actually help our teenagers and indeed help ourselves. So there we go. I'm going to leave that with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If there is anything that you want me to cover in any of the upcoming videos, any specific issue or a situation that you have with your teen that you would like some more information on, or you want me to cover, then please do message me, comment below, or send me a DM, because I'd love to include what you guys actually, need help with the most. And then next week, we're going to be coming on to some more practical solutions. I think we're going to be looking at positive self-talk next week, which is a real passion of mine. So tune in next week at 1 o'clock for that live. And I just want to finish basically there, and also to say that a lot of these teachings are in my online course that I have written for teenagers and younger adults. It's a 3-hour online course that they can complete in their own time, because I know they don't like doing things in groups and they are very private people and they want to complete things themselves. So it's an online course they can complete in their bedroom at their own speed. There are 17 videos between 5 minutes and 20 minutes. So I know they have a very short attention span. So I've made them as short and as punchy as I possibly can, so that they can learn how they can manage themselves, how they can cope with any negative, unwanted emotions or situation which they may find themselves in. It's also about building their self-confidence and about building their self-esteem as well. So for more information on that course, I'm going to put it in the comments below, and you can click and have a look, or please DM me as well with any questions which you may have. Okay, so I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining. Go and practice those breathing techniques. Let me know which one is your favorite and which one works for you and your teens. And I will see you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock CET time. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.